I got one idea that I'm especially psyched out of my mind about. You know, it's one of those ideas where you're just like, yes!
Dave? Dave Flynn?
On the radio!
Hold on to your butts.
Hey there, welcome to Dave Flynn on the Radio, the #1 blogcast on the internet. I'm Dave Flynn, and since reading is hard, I'm going to do it for you. Today, we are talking about magic pills, the simple changes, those little upgrades that make an outsized impact. This is the first in what will be a 4-part series, unless I learn a bit more and add to it before that final volume. But if you listened to Huberman and found my fitness, if you've gotten into the hacks from Ben Greenfield or the optimization from Peter Attia, you probably know and understand some of this already. But here's what I've noticed. When you're cranking out bi-weekly shows with, dozens of advertisers, AG1, call me, you need a lot of advice and a lot of pills, so to speak. And after a while, those pills start to feel a little less magical. It's kind of like those stock market shows that always have a new pick for you instead of telling you the truth that the smartest move is to just sit on your hands. So, this episode is going to help you sift through those mountains of content out there and get to the handful of practices that actually move the needle. We will draw on insights from Martin Berkhan again, Mark Sisson again, some modern medical research. We'll look back at the ancient Greeks and also discuss a few hard-earned lessons from my own trial and error over the last 30 years. You can find more stories and essays like this at winwithflynn.com. But if you are ready, I am ready. Let's jump into the show. Magic Pills, Volume 1, Your Physical Foundation. In last year's recommendation, I mentioned Martin Berkhan, the undisputed king of intermittent fasting. In the Lean Gains Method, he has a chapter called The Magic Bullet. It's all about his search for one, his hope that intermittent fasting might be one, and his eventual realization that it wasn't. People are always looking for the single thing that will change everything. Berkhan never found one, but that has not stopped me from looking. What if they do exist? Not one bullet for everything, but the right intervention for the right problem. Depression, metabolic dysfunction, loneliness, burnout. I've been tracking these little tips, these hacks, these protocols for a long time. The low-effort interventions with outsized returns. Things that feel almost unfair once you understand the mechanism. Not technically magic, but close enough for mere mortals. And because I'll try anything once, this desire to find magic has led me down a lot of dead ends. But along the way, I found a handful that work and woven them into my daily practice. I call them magic pills, and if you're willing, we will nerd out in this series like never before. These practices fall into 4 categories. Volume 1, that's today, is the body, the physical foundation. Get this right, everything else is going to work better. Get it wrong, and, well, nothing's really going to stick. Volume 2 is going to be about the brain. Mood, focus, resilience, mental energy. Volume 3 is the breath. These are the manual overrides when you need a state change right now. Volume 4 is beyond. It's about connection and meaning and play and learning. We're going to start with the body because it's sort of non-negotiable. Sleep is my biggest lever, and without it, I am worthless, like I am right now. Everything else compounds from there. Morning walks for light and movement, strength training, sauna when I can, strategic stacking, wherever possible. And I'm not chasing a fountain of youth. I'm just trying to delay the decline a little bit. And maybe that's a good place to start. Where did this all begin? Well, I'll tell you. In high school, this blogcaster, well, he was a weakling. My first day in the weight room will be forever etched into my brain. Like so many kids, I couldn't lift the high school minimum of 135 pounds on the bench. But I didn't want anyone else to know that. So I loaded those plates and tried to channel some divine intervention. Least I'd be choked out by the very bar that was going to transform me into a Greek god. As I failed on that single rep, David Crawford stepped in and saved me, spotting in a way as to not raise the attention of the others in the weight room. He was giving the appearance of a light touch when I can only imagine the tensile strength required in his fingers to get that weight back on the rack. And we still laugh about that moment. But with that slice of humble pie, I began a practice because I enjoyed lifting. I enjoyed that tightness and that soreness the next day, and I kept right on lifting for the next 30 years. Gym culture led to nutrition, led to bro science, led to more general wellness instead of beach muscles over the last handful of years. And I built myself a daily, weekly, and monthly practice based on what I've learned, much of which has been influenced by these magic pills. Are you ready to hear about them? Well, okay. Number 1, walking 8,000 to 12,000 steps a day. This is the movement volume pill, and it is associated with a 40 to 65% lower all-cause mortality compared to those working under 4,000 steps a day. Dramatically improves cardiovascular health, insulin sensitivity, and baseline energy with almost no recovery cost. So what do? Well, you heard it here first. You walk. Take those steps. Break it up however you want. But we will get to this later. Post-meal walks are particularly magical because of the glucose control. Okay, why does it work? Walking is low intensity. It's high frequency of movement that your body can do every day. It improves your mitochondrial function, lowers resting insulin levels, enhances fat oxidation, keeps blood glucose stable without spiking cortisol. It is the movement equivalent of compound interest. It is snooze fest boring. It's consistent. And guess what? It's unbeatable. Mark Sisson from the Primal Blueprint, he's got this counterintuitive fitness model. He says, move frequently at a slow pace. And what he's talking about is walking and keeping your heart rate under 55% max. And if you pair that with occasional hard efforts, you get a great benefit. But what he wants you to avoid is the gray zone, or what he calls chronic cardio. And that's what you get with the daily jog or the spin class. It's hard enough to spike your cortisol, but doesn't really trigger any adaptation. So he says walking is the foundation. Intensity comes later, but it's strategic, not chronic. The old saying is true. You can judge someone's health by what they take 2 at a time. Stairs or pills? Number 2, nature exposure. Yes, that's right. Nature exposure. And it's the nervous system and immune pill. The magic? Forest bathing. Increases natural killer cell activity by 40 to 50%. The boost can last 30 days. 30. So these cells, these natural killer cells, hunt viruses. They hunt early tumors, your immune system's rapid response team. Bonus. Stress hormones drop, mood stabilizes, and well-being improves when you're out there amongst the trees and the flowers. Who could have guessed? So what do? Aim for 20 minutes a day in a park or a forest or a beach or a trail, or 1 to 2 longer sessions on the weekend. Walking is optional, although you do need your steps, remember. You can just sit there like Forrest Gump on a park bench, and it will still count for those NK cells. Okay, why does this work? Man, don't come at me, but it's something called phytosides. Phytosides. These are the airborne compounds released by trees. You know, that pine fresh scent. They directly boost your NK cell production. Breathe those suckers in, my man, and your immune system gets a measurable boost that lasts for weeks. Meanwhile, the visual environment, these are the fractal patterns in the greenery, it downshifts your nervous system. It reduces stress hormones and signals safety. It's immune enhancement plus nervous system reset. It is good. And the Japanese coined this Shinrin-yoku. Shinrin-yoku. I'm saying that wrong. There's no doubt. And it literally translates to forest bath. They started this in 1982 as the urban sprawl was gobbling up all of their beautiful natural habitats. And they wanted to do it as a preventative measure against urban stress. And then decades later, the science caught up. They knew they felt better, but why? And they found out about these NK cells surging and how it stayed elevated for weeks. Number 3, resistance training, 30 to 60 minutes a week. The magic. Resistance training reduces all-cause mortality by 15 to 21%. I know that's not as big as the walking, but keep listening. It reduces cardiovascular disease by 19%, cancer mortality by 14%. And the maximum benefit occurs at just 30 to 60 minutes total per week. And it's one of these dose response that kind of fits on a J curve, which means that if you're doing more than 2 hours, it's really not giving you additional benefits, at least not with the lifespan. It will make you look really yoked. So that's the good news. But what do? 30 to 60 minutes total per week, split that across 2 to 3 sessions. Easy peasy. Train your major muscle groups, legs, back, chest, core. Progressive overload. Gradually add weight and reps over time. Okay, this is just like Highline High. No big deal. Why does it work? Muscle is metabolically protective tissue. It regulates blood sugar, reduces inflammation, supports cardiovascular function, provides reserve capacity during illness and stress. The mortality reduction comes from metabolic resilience. Your body handles disease, injury, aging better when you've got muscles. So grow them. Okay, have you heard of Milo of Croton? I'm saying that wrong too, I'm sure of it. But he is the greatest wrestler in ancient Greece. And he allegedly built his strength by carrying a newborn calf on his back every day, until it became a full-grown bull. And I don't think it's a myth. I'm going with it. But the Greeks understood something, progressive overload. Even 2,000 years ago, before we had barbells, gradually increase the load, get stronger, build metabolic resilience, and the principle hasn't changed.
Oh, Miss Koenigsson. I wasn't expecting company. Just doing my workout. Tuesday's arms and back.
Well, you asked me to come by, sir.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Oh, it's a deep burn. Oh, it's so deep. Oh, I could barely lift my right arm because I did so many. I don't know if you heard me counting. I did over 1,000. You have your ubulus muscle that connects to the upper dorsimus. It's boring, but it's part of my life. I'm just going to grab this shirt if you don't mind. Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Number 4, vigorous cardio 3 times a week. The magic? It cuts cardiovascular mortality by 30%, and drives a massive metabolic improvement. Bonus. Are you ready for the bonus? Depression symptoms drop by 0.66 standard deviations. That's better than most antidepressants, with a 2 to 3 times higher remission rate. Heart health, mental health, one protocol. Move your bones. Okay, what do? 3 sessions a week, 20 to 40 minutes per session. Push until you're uncomfortable. That's like 75 to 95% max heart rate. Run, cycle, row, swim, whatever it takes. Just get the heart rate up. Why does it work? Vigorous exercise triggers cardiovascular adaptations. It improves your VO2 max, improves your heart health, and floods your brain with serotonin, neuroepinephrine, dopamine. It triggers BDNF production and creates powerful anti-inflammatory effects throughout the body. That's a lot of good stuff. Back to the Greeks. They didn't just lift, they also ran. And no, I'm not talking about the marathon. We're talking about warriors. They trained with distance running for military communications and endurance. The original Olympic Games, they featured something called Dolikos. It was a 3-mile endurance race. Cardio isn't a modern invention to burn calories, okay? It could save your life, and it probably will. Okay, let's talk about the real magic, and that is the combo effect. Do both, not just one. Studies show resistance training alone, without any cardio, that is going to be a 15 to 21% mortality reduction. Adding aerobic exercise ramps that to 40% all-cause mortality reduction, 60% cardiovascular disease reduction, and 28% cancer reduction. Magic. You need both, really, modalities. Don't be the skin and bones cyclist or the muscle-bound powerlifter who can't run a mile. Do them both. And there's a couple ways to schedule it. You can just do the every other traditional split where you're doing weights Monday, Wednesday, Friday, cardio Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That's going to be great. If you're short on time, do circuits. Do CrossFit. I just said it. Do CrossFit. Or Tabatas work really well too. I have a Tabata timer and I love it. You're just condensing both into fewer sessions. And I think that's terrific. So for the exercise averse, I know I said magic and you're thinking, geez, this sounds like a lot. It's not. It is so little. At the minimum effective dose, you're looking at 3 10-minute weight sessions and 3 20-minute cardio sessions a week. That's 90 minutes total. And it can be done in 3 30-minute combo workouts to cut your mortality risk by 40%. I think that's still magic. Sorry, I know you got to break a sweat, but that's pretty magical. So to accomplish these results in that short amount of time, you do need to actually work. You can't just go to the gym and check on Insta. That's not going to do it. So intensity matters. Push yourself. Get in, get out. Okay? Back to the Greeks. They had a training protocol called the tetrad. I'm mispronouncing it. I know. This is a blogcast. But the tetrad was a 4-day cycle that mixed preparation, intensity, recovery, and skill. They lifted stones, and the next day they went running, and then the next day they wrestled, and then guess what they did? They took a nap, and then they repeated that. Different tools, same principle. 2,000 years later, we're still cycling through strength and endurance. The equipment has changed, but the need has not. So go do it. Okay, next up. Oh man, this one is magic. I wish I could do it though. This is sleep. Sleep 7 to 9 hours consistently. Okay, we all know this, but what's the magic? Sleeping less than 7 hours increases all-cause mortality by 12%. Less than 6 hours of sleep, that's going to increase it by 26%. Sleep regularity, which is consistent bed-wake times, is an even stronger predictor of mortality than the duration. So if you're a light sleeper, if you only like 5 hours, you're like Jocko, you have to at least be consistent. A study of 60,000 people found that the most regular sleepers had 20 to 48% lower all-cause mortality compared to the least regular, even when controlling for duration. So what do? Sleep 7 to 9 hours. Keep it consistent. Go to a dark, cool room below 68 degrees. No screens, man. Stay off the screen. Blue light suppresses melatonin. You'll be up all night. No caffeine after 2 p.m. And get a wind down routine, 10 to 15 minutes reading, meditation, journaling, whatever it is to get your brain to shut off. Why does it work? Sleep clears metabolic waste from the brain via the lymphatic system. Essentially, it's a dishwasher that only runs when you're in deep sleep. It helps consolidate memories, it regulates hormones, it repairs tissues. Chronic deprivation degrades everything. Your immune function will drop 30%. Emotional regularity will boost 30%, 30% increase in anxiety if you don't get your sleep. You'll have better insulin sensitivity, cardiovascular health. Okay, check this out. Stanford researcher Sherry Ma used this protocol with the basketball team at Stanford, and she extended their normal sleep hours up to 10 hours per day or per night. And the results were a 9% improvement in their free throw shooting, a 9.2% improvement in three-point shooting, and 0.7 seconds faster in sprint times. That's pretty good. If you want to increase your three-pointers by almost 10%, just get some rest, my man. Okay, next up, this is the one that got me started on this dang list that you're listening to. The magic pill of all magic pills, because this one really feels like magic to me. This is the sauna. Sauna 4 to 7 times a week. This is the heat stress and cardiovascular training magic pill. You heard it here. I don't know, probably 12th, 13th, but I'm going to say it all the same. What's the magic? Finnish studies tracking men over 20 found that 4 to 7 sauna sessions per week reduced all-cause mortality 40%. These are all kind of like 40%. It's kind of a big deal, right? 40% and cardiovascular mortality by 50%. A 2018 study confirmed the same benefits in women. Dose-dependent, more sessions equaled more protection. What to do? 15 to 20 minutes per session. 170 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, I'm in Seattle, Washington. We're going Fahrenheit. 4 times a week. Post-workout is ideal but not required. Don't have a sauna? Hot baths at 104 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes provide a similar benefit. Here's my little secret. I don't have a dry sauna. I want one. But I do have a steam room. At the old gymnasium, they've got a steam room. Some people think it's gross. I think it's fine. And I had a question. How does the steam room translate to these dry sauna figures? So I did build, okay, this is super nerd, but I did build a heat shock protein calculator. It's on the website. You can see the link here. That'll show you the sweet spot. So you can put in hot bath, you can put in dry sauna, you can put in steam room, and the temperature and humidity, and it will tell you if you're getting those heat shock proteins or not. Pretty cool. I agree. Okay, why does it work? The sauna creates a cardiovascular stress without a mechanical load. What does that mean? You're going to be sitting there and your heart's going to be thumping, 120 to 150 beats per minute. I know because I did it yesterday and my heart was racing until I left. And that's a nice, moderate cardiovascular level while you just sit there. This triggers the heat shock proteins, improves blood vessel flexibility, and trains systemic stress resilience. In Finland, I've never been, but I want to go. In Finland, there are 3.3 million saunas for 5.5 million people, nearly 2 per household. And Dr. Jari, I'm going Jari here, Dr. Jari Lakanen started researching them when his colleagues from around the world were saying, how do Finns have such good cardiovascular outcomes despite their terrible diets? I made up the terrible part, but I'm just thinking, despite their diets, they all had great heart health and cardiovascular outcomes. And the answer, it was in their own backyards. Okay, our last one, and it goes hand in hand with your step count at number 1. This is post-meal movement, and it is your glucose control pill, the magic. A 15-minute walk after meals blunts post-meal glucose spikes by 10 to 30%. It reduces triglycerides by 25 to 72%, and it lowers systolic blood pressure. It also improves digestion, improves sleep quality. The glucose control effect rivals diabetes medications. It's mechanistically similar, but 0 side effects. Okay, what do? Well, it's pretty simple. You take a 15-minute walk after your big meals, after your main meals, or you can just move around. It really does not matter. You just want to move and get your heart moving. That could be taking out the trash, doing the laundry, empty the dishwasher, load the dishwasher, or take a hike around the block. Why does it work? When you eat, blood glucose spikes. Normally, insulin shuttles that glucose into your cells, but contracting muscles have a back door. They pull the glucose directly from the bloodstream, independent of insulin. Okay? This is why even some light movement after eating is really effective. You're offloading glucose before it triggers the insulin spike. You're also burning and circulating triglycerides instead of storing them for later, for your blood test, your blood panel, like I do. Okay, timing's everything. In 2022, a study compared walking for 30 minutes once daily versus 10-minute walks after each meal. Same volume. The post-meal walks reduced 24-hour glucose levels way more.
No way. Way.
Okay, that was kind of a lot. I know, that was super health nerd, but let me just run you through what my stack looks like. Okay, here's what I do. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I walk a mile to the gym. I lift for 30 to 45 minutes. I know that's more than the 10 minutes that I need, but I like it. I hit the steam room, the steam sauna, and then I walk home. So that's about 90 minutes, 3 times a week. That covers resistance training, walking, and heat exposure in one big chunk of time. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I do cardio. I might do zone 2, that low end stuff, or I might do sprint intervals. And I'm avoiding the gray zone, the chronic cardio zone. Every morning, I go on a 1-mile walk, non-negotiable. Where am I inconsistent? I think that would be the post-meal movement. Usually I like to eat and then, do a blogcast or something. I do it when I'm headed somewhere, but I should just loop around the block regardless. I would also love my own sauna. Sauna sponsors, call me. And that would just remove the barriers of the gym timing. And sometimes I go to the gym and the sauna is not real warm and it's not getting warm. So, I'll talk to management. But your body is the foundation. So if you get this stuff wrong, nothing's going to stick, not the focus, and not the mood and not the resilience, which is what we will get to, because up next we have Magic Pills, Volume 2. Sharpen the mood, the focus, the resilience with sunlight, creatine, cold exposure, and a few more supplements that actually work. I can't wait to share them with you in the months to come. There we have it. That's the pod. Thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, please share it with a friend. Give it a thumbs up. And if you've got a few extra seconds, give it a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you are listening. The engagement will make you feel so good, and it'll help other people find the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
All right, there you go, America. I love you. I'm proud of you. I mean it. We gotta go. This is great.